Hello again. So now I said I was going to talk about more about the elections and stuff, but I figure let's try something else. Yeah?
Yeah!
This is my channel. Excuse me. Oh fuck, that was bad. Oh well. Anyways, this is my channel and I make the rules. Maybe I should just talk like this. Okay. So, I think I'm going to talk about Dragon Ball Z. Maybe. Oh, I hate my nose like that actually. Oh, I'm such a girl. I hate my nose and my face and too bad. Oh, I broke a nail. Heavens no. Fuck that. Let's see. I kind of want to talk about Dragon Ball Z just because, I don't know, you know, it's just that one show that was fucking amazing and one of my favorites, and probably Invader Zim too, because actually Invader Zim first, because it's funny, I hadn't watched it in a few years actually, and I just started again because I don't know, in my opinion, some people might think differently obviously, but my opinion is like those episodes, like there's so much going on. It's like, even though there's not that many, you can go back and rewatch them, and just even now, like it's interesting because I watched it and I'm actually starting to see like just how old it is. Like before, it was kind of, when I watched it back in 2010 even, it still looked like, you know, if somebody started playing it now, if Nickelodeon started playing it now, it would almost look like it was a new show, like they just were starting to make it now. But I'm rewatching it again, I started noticing, like, you can tell it's kind of like old, like the line art is very it's not consistent and not as crisp, but man, like the details, that's what I always just, it's almost like every screenshot could be a picture, like a painting or something. Not a painting, I don't know. I mean, for me, I wouldn't mind having a bunch of Invader Zim paintings in my house, but you know, it's just like, and the style, it's like I can't get enough of it. And you know, the main thing I was going to talk about is this show is really what grew the love of art and drawing in me, and making characters. And of course it started out just drawing the Invader Zim characters, but then I started drawing my own characters, and I still have only a couple, actually. I wish I had more, but only a couple of these like 2-page comics that I made when I was about 12 or 11. I'm not sure, but when I was like, probably, I think when I first started reading Squee, which is another great one by Jonah Vasquez, and you know, most Invader Zim fans, like the ones who get really into it, end up looking up Jonah Vasquez, and then they find Squee, and then they find Johnny the Homicide Maniac, and their parents go insane because if they're young enough, they're like, oh my god, like, but I mean, that's how my parents were. It was fucking hilarious because to me, it was like that blood and gore stuff didn't bother me. Like, I mean, there were some scenes that I was kind of like, it didn't like gross me out as much as I was just like in awe. Like I was like, what the fuck? And I mean, maybe like the bathroom scene where that guy just like shits himself and stuff, that one bothered me probably the most. But like nowadays it's like whatever. But it was just so different from anything else that I'd ever seen, and so random, and kind of like, I loved just the detail and the darkness and the unique style of Jonah Vasquez. And so yeah, I made a few of my own, and it's funny because they're my own characters and stuff, but it's like, it's almost identical. I don't know, not identical, but it's like so much like his humor. And I wish to some extent that I could go back, because I can't, it's hard to, you know, be as crazy and random and just as fucked up as him, right? Like, I think a lot of people struggle with that who are his fans and who try and make stuff themselves. But it was like, these ones were so close, and I was reading them and I was like, where is that? Come back to me. But I don't know, sometimes I find myself being random and stuff. And the other thing is, like, the only way you're really going to do it is to stop trying so hard to emulate and imitate that kind of randomness. Like, of course it's going to influence you. And, you know, I always get much better at it just after watching or just after reading some of his work. But, like, you can't have his quotes and his style and stuff repeating in your head so much, because then you're just going to end up either getting stuck or making really lame attempts or whatever. But the best thing to do is just let yours flow from that. And a lot of the times you'll end up making really crap stuff. A lot of times, actually, like, I've noticed, excuse me, I've been drinking a little. Just a little bit. Responsibility, people. Responsibility, folks. It's an important thing. With great power comes great responsibility. Anyways, what was I saying? Fuck. Yeah, like, a lot of the times I'll make a comic or a drawing, writing, and look at it and be like, holy shit, I hate this, and I'll put it away, or like it'll be in my sketchbook, and I'll, you know, eventually come back to it and I'll be like, I actually like this. So I don't know, that's one thing that is really cool. And anyways, yeah, so INVADER ZIM really, when I was younger, definitely got me into the comics scene, and I tried to find other comics that I liked, but I found a few, but I never really got into Marvel and stuff. I loved the unique style and, like, the sharpness, emo, goth, whatever you want to call it, the depressed, angry, homicidal look of it, right? And I started drawing, and a lot of my old stuff, a lot of it looks almost way too much like the fan Jonin style. And then eventually I started making my own styles, and, well, actually, this is more when I was older, 2010, yeah. So once INVADER ZIM was canceled and everything, I was obviously devastated. Like, literally, when I found out, I was like, I could still feel it, right? Like, you could still feel the pain. Why, Nickelodeon? Why? But I kind of fell out of it. Still drew a little bit throughout high school and stuff, but nothing serious. It was just, like, you know, for my art classes. I think every year for my elective I took art, which is cool, but at the same time they only really offered, like, the beginning stuff, so it was almost easy, but I still learned a lot. And I ended up doing, like, murals. Like, the teachers noticed a few students in those classes that were far advanced, you know, because they were actually, like, doing this a lot more, and they would end up making separate projects for us, which was really cool. Like, you know, a lot of teachers just, they go along with their set plan for everything, the syllabus, I guess you could call it, you know, for college classes. I don't really think I would ever heard it in high school, but basically the same thing. But the fact that these art teachers would recognize the talent of these few students and really want to help them develop more. Like that's just great. Like that's just how artists are, I think. Like we're a community of people that just want to be inspired and inspire others and help others. So it's a beautiful thing. But I didn't get back into comics and characters and stuff, and really thinking about drawing and doing graphic design or illustration for possibly a career, or at least like, you know, a part-time job, until 2010, when first my brother actually started rewatching Dragon Ball Z, and I did with him. And then I was like, on my own, I was like, I kind of want to watch Invader Zim again. And I did. And I actually found the season 2, which I had never seen before. So I was like, it was awesome, because for me, it was literally like I was seeing new episodes. So that was great. And oh my gosh, it was awesome. So I went through those really quick, and then I was like, I want more, obviously. There's just something about that show that just, it's so unique, and it's like, it's so artistic, and you can just feel it. And so I started drawing again. I was surprised at how fast I picked up like that style again. And then my own style kind of grew from that. And then of course I remembered all the quotes and stuff, because you can never forget that. And then I started looking up stuff online, and I found Operation Head Pigeons, which was the group that was started by Sarah and Carissa. I miss them. I wish I could talk to them again, but we kind of lost contact. But started after Jonan said in his Question Sleep blog that Invader Zim had actually almost come back in 2010, but it just didn't pan out for several reasons. He posted a long thing that was, of course, hilarious, and said that Nickelodeon wanted to, but they didn't want to spend as much money and stuff like that, and it just didn't work out. And that, you know, the fans, the fact that it was so popular made them think about it again. But basically, Zim was dead, and it's gonna stay dead, and fans didn't have anything to do with that, didn't want anything to do with that. They were like, no. So this huge movement happened again, and I'm so lucky to have, like, I feel like it was like meant to be. It was meant to be. But like I joined the page when it was like, I think they had about like 7,000 fans, and quickly grew to like not over 9,000, and I started posting on there a lot, posting my art and everything. Started getting to know the admins, and then I ended up becoming an admin, and that there's a whole story to go along with that. But yeah, it's like through that my art just exploded, and I started thinking like, I might actually want to do this for a living, or at least part-time or a hobby. Like, I started taking it seriously again, and I started taking courses at college, like Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, figure drawing, character design, all this stuff, creative writing even. And I've always felt that drive to make a story. And in high school, it was more I wanted to make a book. And I had a lot of writings, but it's like I've always been the kind of person that gets really into it and starts a story, and then maybe gets to like 20 to 30 pages and just kind of like dies down, and I either start a new one or I just lose the ideas and kind of the drive, and then it, you know, got back into maybe I want to do comics, and so I have a ton of drawings of characters and writings of ideas, even the beginnings of some. My problem isn't coming up with the ideas. I have a lot of those. It's bringing those ideas into a structured setting, a structured story, and actually creating the beginning, the middle, the end. But I've gotten a lot better at it, actually. It's a lot of work. So in a storyboarding class now, which is awesome because they didn't offer it back then, but I found it luckily, and this is the first time they're offering it. And the teacher's awesome. The people in it are awesome. It's really challenging. It's a lot of work. I'm probably one of like the students that's like more of the beginners, and so that's always frustrating in an art class because it's kind of like disheartening when you see all these people that are like so good and who are younger than you or the same age as you, and you're like, oh, what am I doing? But you know, you always have to remember that you can't compare yourself to them. I mean, you can, but you always have to remember that you can't let that bring you down or make you want to stop or think that you're never going to get good enough. You have to use their talent and that feeling of not being good enough as a way to make yourself want to be good enough and get better, you know, and not so much as a competition to be like, I want to be better than them, but to be like, I want to draw like that. And you know, everyone's so nice, and when you ask them about how they started, what they do, what programs they use, some of the techniques they use, they're totally okay with showing you, and it's some of the coolest people I've ever met, and it's really awesome. So I guess this turned out to be more about Invader Zim and my art than Dragon Ball Z, but I will always, you know, never too late to start a Dragon Ball Z video some other time. But yeah, I've been drawing so much lately, and it's really awesome because I went through like several months of just not doing anything, like not wanting to draw. I kind of like really lost that passion, but I've got it back, and I'm doing so many different stories and fan art, fan fiction, my original stuff, stuff that's kind of like Invader Zim with like the goofy looking characters, stuff that's more like serious. I really want to make like a like dystopian graphic novel or something, but that's gonna take a while. I have ideas again, of course, but anyways, it's awesome, and to just look back and see how far I've come from like 2010 and just see how far I'm going. It's awesome. So I have some pages with my art, and I might post links to that. We'll probably talk about this more. I kind of want to see if I can start, you know, like recording some of my drawings, or at least showing them, and maybe doing some like how to draw, or like showing you how I draw stuff. But other than that, I guess that's all I have to say. Thank you to anybody that watched this. I hope it was enjoyable. I hope I'm getting better at staying on point. Sure, I talk a lot and I probably rambled again, but what you gonna do? All right, thank you. Let me set that down. Love you. Bye. Peace the fuck out. No, just kidding. Can't steal that.